So thank you, everybody. Thank you to be here. Thank you to give me this opportunity. This is not really a keynote lecture. This is a sort of joke, but maybe that this will become a project. As you know, maybe that you have the opportunity to see on our seminar introductions a word saying that here in the Aula Magna of the Italian Olympic Committee in Rome, the 20th of April of 1966, was the place and the moment of the inception of the International Society of Sports Psychology. And as we are celebrating now, 50 years have gone, and a lot of things changed in the ISP from the time of our first president, Ferruccio Antonelli, to the time of our actual president, Gang Yanxi. Not only for sure in the ISSP, a lot of things are changed, but also in our Romance lifestyle. Yesterday you have pointed out our attention on the fact that all the streets leads to Rome, but this is a cause of a lot of traffic here in the city. So from the time of the Roman holidays to today, a lot of changes has gone with respect to Romance lifestyle. And if you can allow me a personal note, a lot of things have changed as well in my own life. I was born in 1965, and now I have a family and 2 daughters. So a lot of things have changed. And if we want to go in search of some traces, some indication of the direction that these changes has assumed, it is always very difficult to identify parameters or measures that are able to indicate us in which direction these changes are gone. It is very difficult to interpret their speed, their slope, their causes, and their consequences. I think that this is the work of history, but I'm not an expert in history of psychology, not an expert in sport psychology history. I'm a psychometrician, and so in my simple mind, I need some measure. Still, it is difficult for me to identify a metric for these changes. And as we say in Italy, words are very important. And it is true, because nothing defines a culture as distinctively as its language, and the element of language that probably best encapsulate a scientific society values and beliefs is the proceedings of the conferences. So I have done an effort, thanks to some friend, thanks to Alberto. I founded the first proceedings book of the 1965 conferences that is actually in our website. And I use this book to assess a research question that is how the language within the debate on sport psychology has changed. And I used that proceeding book as a sort of measure, of unit of measure, in order to evaluate how the language within the debate on sport psychology has changed. So, as a joke, this is not a study, it's a joke, it's a beginning of something if you want. I use this book in an explorative content analysis. I content analyzed the abstracts book of the 1965 and the 2013 meetings. I created some statistical norms based on a frequency analysis of the words in the actual book of the 1965 meetings. And subsequently, I computed some indexes from the abstracts of the Beijing conference. In particular, I computed a sort of item expected frequency based on the frequency of the words in the Beijing abstract books, the deviation from this, the observed frequency and the expected one, and z-value and its two-tailed probability. So we have some idea of what happened using the ROM proceedings books in Beijing. These are only 2 pictures, not a movie. Please keep this in mind. And in the second picture, someone who was not present at that time is present now. So some words appeared. These are example. This is not simply an example, but the lists of these words. And the words are stressor or stressors, resilience, mindfulness, coping, psychometric. I was very happy about this news. Prevention and burnout. While some words increase dramatically in the likelihood to occur. The words that you are seeing there increased the likelihood to occur more than 100 times. Needs, intrinsic, I think you can recognize some theories. Emotion, competence, satisfaction, stress, still. Goal, reliability, validity, questioner, regression, anxiety, theory, measurement. Cognitive, competition, enjoyment, mood, efficacy, moral, motivation, perceived, methods, doping, and health. At the same time, some friends disappeared. So some words that was present in 1965 are not present in the Beijing, were not present in the Beijing conference, such as strain and impulses, conditioned, neurotic. Some words are not in our vocabulary now. While some words decreases with the very same likelihood that other words increase, some other words decrease the likelihood to occur more than 100 times, such as memory, apparatus, food, instinct, intelligence, animals, stimulation, drive, muscle, nervous, reflex, pulse. So, as I said, these are only 2 pictures, and 2 pictures are not a movie. And you have seen the posters that Sidonio mentioned before, and these posters are probably more similar to a movie than my 2 pictures. But and as you have seen, these pictures do not explain, for example, how the cognitive revolution in the 80s totally changed the sport psychology we do today, or similarly. They do not represent how neuroscience and neuropsychology are actually changing the perspective about sports science research and thinking, as you have seen yesterday, and probably as you may see today. And so, at the same time, I think that this is for me the opportunity to think about what we can do with our abstract book. We can take some future direction in developing my research question. For example, we can test some specific hypotheses, such as the popularity of a theory during a specific period of time, looking at the frequency of the word that we have had in our conferences. Or we simply describe some trend analysis of concept, indicators, instruments, or to analyze the covariation of concepts, indicators, instruments, and the occurrence of specific events, for instance, some sports events or some scientific discoveries. And so I decided, together with some friends, together with Sidonia, for example, that this idea can be a project, and I hope that in Sevilla we can collect all the proceedings from Rome, we have yet. From Washington, we have not. If someone may help us to found the proceeding from Washington or Madrid, where we have a lot of other proceedings arriving to the Beijing one, and if they will be found, they will be scanned and content analyzed in order to have the material ready to pursue this goal. So thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much to be here. Not still. The next one.
Thank you, Fabio. By the way, you can find some elements of these keynotes in the abstract proceedings. We also have the abstract proceedings, and these abstract proceedings are published by Luigi Pozzi in the journal Movimento, which is the journal of the Italian Journal of Sport Psychology. A plan, we intend also to have a special issue. It was Luigi Pozzi's offer 1 year ago to have a special issue in the International Journal of Sport Psychology with large abstracts from the keynote speakers and symposium chairs. So thank you again for cooperating, not only 45 years ago, but also now, and even sponsoring some activities of this Congress. Now I have the honor of giving the stage to Christopher Henriksson. He received the Young Scholar Awards in our last Congress in Beijing, ISSP, for some years started some years ago to give awards to recognize some young researchers, and we had two researchers awarded, two young researchers award in Beijing 2013, and inviting them to present the keynote lectures, Henriksson, and in the last keynote, Yu-Kai Cheng, we wanted to have a symbol of that bridge from the past to the future. In this session commemorating the 50th anniversary of ISSP, we remember the past, but we are pointing out to the future. And here, by this keynote, we are pointing out the work of young researchers, and I'm sure many of them will be here in 50 years, commemorating the 100 years of ISSP. I intend to come and also receive some reward by that time. So, Christopher will speak about the holistic ecological approach to talent development and its implication for applied sports psychology. And I also call the chair, Rossana Ciuffetti from Italy, and the co-chair, Antonio Spataro. Please come here, chair the session, and thank you for your keynote.